All right. Um, so everyone, good morning. Again, my name is Trisha Tate. I am treasurer of NAWBO NYC. It is wonderful to be with you all this morning, Monday morning. Um, I've really been taking the time to talk to um, not just family and friends, but business owners. And there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of um, franticness, but there's also a lot of, hey, what do I have to do right now to take care of these things, to take care of my business, to take care of my employees? A lot of people are trying to figure things out. Hopefully this is not a new normal. This is just a right now, but a lot of people are trying to figure things out. And so um, as I've been fielding people's questions, actually, I didn't tell you, I'm an outsourced CFO, and I work with small and mid-sized businesses on the regular basis, helping to manage their financial operations. And I love numbers, and I love supporting people and helping them figure out how to continue to grow and be profitable. And in times like these, how to manage and jigger around your money, your cash, so that you can survive and you can make things happen. So that's what I do. And for that reason, I've been talking to different business owners and just getting a sense of where are they, taking their temperature, helping them work through things and figure things out. And then whenever we don't have the answers, finding out the answers for them. So I've kind of crafted this presentation to sort of focus you on three things. After talking with all of these business owners, these are three things that I think, or places or areas that people can focus in the midst of all of this crazy. And the first thing I would say is focus on self. You know, when you go on a flight and they tell you, in case of emergency, put on your mask first and then tend to your loved ones. If you are not okay mentally, financially, just health-wise, body, mind, spirit, then everything else in your life is going to be chaotic. So whatever you need to do daily, a daily practice in the morning or in the evening. I know we're talking about financials, but I think this is also important for our mind state at this moment, to focus on self. Where are you? How do you center yourself? How do you focus yourself? How do you prepare for the day before you have to handle any other business or handle anyone else? So that's important, to make sure you have a solid foundation. Next thing is to focus on, next thing I want to focus people on is their business. I know a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do with their cash at this moment. And something that I normally do with clients that I would say is really, really important right now is to actually plot out a 12-week, or however long you want, but at least a 12-week cash plan, where at the very top of it, on the first line, you just look at where your bank account is right now, or all of your accounts. Where's all the cash for your business housed, right? And then in the next block, you think about all of the things that you need to pay out, right? And I think that you should break it down into three categories. What do I have to pay to sustain the business? What's the must pay? And then what is needed, but not necessarily mandatory? So that's the second bucket. And then the third bucket is, what are the things I'd like to keep? Audible, some of your subscriptions might not be necessary. Think about your day-to-day operations and what must you keep going. Maybe your rent, maybe you've moved everything virtually, and keeping your Zoom account or your online video conferencing is a must pay. If you have any back taxes or any payroll responsibilities, insurance responsibilities, what are the things that you must pay? And then what's needed but not mandatory, and then what are nice to keeps? And I think the nice to keeps in this moment, either pause them delay them, or stop them altogether. This is really a time to reassess what is really important and vital to the lifeblood of your business. And if it's just a nice to keep or a nice to have, consider stopping the service or stopping the relationship with the vendor at this time, or put it off to a later date, and just reassure them that you'll reconvene in the next couple of months. The things that are needed but mandatory are also negotiable. Call up your cell phone company. Ask them what could be done at this moment. Call up your photocopier company. Call up your IT services provider. Call up all of those suppliers and service providers. See if there's a way that you can negotiate a rate, a deferred rate, a longer period to pay right now. In terms of your credit cards, call the credit card companies. See if you can negotiate lower rates or an extended payment term. Everything at this point is negotiable because businesses want to keep their customers. So they will be more amenable to making adjustments or certain shifts, especially if you have a great relationship with the vendor or supplier. So this is a good time to have a conversation. It's a human conversation. Everybody is going through this. So they should also understand, and they're also trying to keep business. Remember, they're business owners too, so they might be open to it. In terms of must pays, right? A lot of questions I get are around employees, managing employees. What should I do with my employees? We are a family. I don't want to let them go. I also know that they have struggles. People are making very different decisions. And so one thing I would say is have a sit down with your employees, have a conversation, and first discuss the situation. Make sure you're communicating with them, because we are all in this together. And you want to let them know that you care about them, and that you also want to make sure that they are dealing with this situation in the best way possible. All right, so now back to cash. After we've assessed, after we've written out this 12-week plan, and in every week you're looking at what must you pay, what's needed but mandatory, and then what's nice to keep, then you look at what cash can you bring in. Now, this is a come to Jesus moment. This is like, what customers can I talk to all your customers, actually, because again, we're having a human experience. They're going through things as well, but find out if it's plausible for you to make some sort of arrangements to keep the relationship going, whether it's delayed payments, whether it's half payment, whether it's quarter payment now, 50% later, quarter percent in a few months. Try to be creative. Try to offer also prepaid services. So think of gift cards. You pay for it up front, and they could use the service later on. So that's also an option. So another option is a lot of the funding. So there are grants out there. A lot of times business owners don't go for grants. It might take a while. There are also loans available. And I've been walking people through the federal funding and the city funding that is available. And I'm going to talk to you about that right now. So first, I want to go into SBA disaster loan assistance. So this was announced, and this came out on a website, and then it wasn't available to New Yorkers. If you're a New Yorker, you know what I'm talking about. Last week, at the top of the week, I go into the system and I'm helping a business owner walk through this application process. And first, the SBA has to declare your state and your county a particular disaster area. That didn't happen at the top of last week. New York, the boroughs of Queens, Brooklyn, Suffolk, Nassau County was not yet declared. I put a couple of calls into our congressman. I'm sure a lot of other people did the same thing. Wednesday afternoon, it became available. So now New York and its major boroughs and counties have been declared a disaster area for COVID-19 specifically. It's a specific instance. So now that you're a eligible disaster area, now you can go in and apply online. The business owner needs to be the one to apply because it requires your date of birth, your social security number, and all of that information. And you want to be confidential and safe. So just follow the prompts one step at a time, and be patient with what's going on with the government because they're also trying to figure it out. But I would also be vigilant. So if they give you an email or a phone number, once you submit the application, if they give you an email or a phone number to follow up, I will follow up like once a week, maybe every couple of days, just so you're on top of it and you're holding them accountable for being responsive to what's going on in small businesses' needs. The second thing for those of you who are in New York that I'd like to talk about is the New York City Small Business Services grants and loan. So this was another one where I realized systematically the SBS is trying to figure it out as well. So last week, I tried to walk a company through the grant. The first roadblock I hit is it requires a New York City vendor number. Not everyone has a New York City vendor number, so I understand that the SBS in the background is working on, putting down some of these roadblocks in order to facilitate the flow and the application process for this. So in terms of the New York City Employee Retention Grant Program, which is at the top part of your screen, there are certain requirements. The major one is they want you to show that COVID-19 outbreak has caused at least a 25% decrease in your revenue. They allow you to look at January, February, and March of 2020, and they want you to show proof of the decline either month over month or year over year. So they'll want you to show what was your January, February, March in 2019 versus 2020. Now, you might not have seen an immediate decrease in your revenue, but I think it is fair for you to also show your plans for 2020. What were the contracts or services that you already secured? What was negotiated before COVID-19? And then what did you lose as a result, or you forecast losing in the next 3 months? I think once you show those things, because you have to upload documents in order to show proof of what they're asking. For example, those of you with 1 to 4 employees, they want you to show your most recent payroll return record so that it proves that you only have 4 employees. So I think find creative ways to upload information that proves that you're having that you're experiencing a decrease now, and then the next few months, you forecast that in the next few months. They might not explicitly say that, but I think adding that information would be important. And then they also want to make sure you've been in operation for the last 6 months. At the bottom is the New York City Small Business Continuity Loan Fund. Certain businesses will be eligible for 0 interest loans up to $75,000. As we see here, again, you have to prove that you're experiencing sales decreases of 25% or more. Again, be creative there. Give them what they specifically ask for first. And then if you want to give supplemental information, i.e. again, a plan of what you expected to get and proof that contracts or services will no longer happen in the next couple of months because of the COVID-19 outbreak, I think that's fair to submit as well. All right. So this is also a good time for you to check in with Workers' Comp Board, New York City Department of Taxation and Finance. If you have any unopened letters from these federal or state or local agencies, please look at them. Make sure you don't have any tax liens or any legal judgments against your business, because that could be a ding against your application. So this is really a time to be informed and over-informed about all that's going on in your business. So good luck to all of you who apply here. So going back to, first we talked about as you're managing your financials in the midst of crisis, you want to focus on self first? How do we make sure our mind, body, and spirit or are all in alignment so that we could support everything else? Then we should focus on what's going on in our business, be very vigilant about that. I talked about a 12-week cash plan, um, looking at cash out, and then estimating what cash can come in. And let's be realistic and be creative. And when there's a shortfall, there's funding out there, so apply to that and be on top of that. Also look for grants. Apparently, there are small business grants from private companies like Facebook, so stay on top of that information. And as we do these calls on a weekly basis, if I'm aware of any more information, or if you are aware of more information, please share it with me. I'll tell you at the end how to get in contact with me. And then the third thing in managing financials in a time of crisis is to talk to your extended family. And when I say extended family, I'm not just talking about aunts, uncles, grandparents. I am talking about the people you call your family in your company. If you have employees, if you have contractors, a lot of business owners consider them like extended family. So you know what? Have a family dinner. Like I said in the beginning, have a talk with each and every person, find out what's going on with them. You know, everyone is responding in very different ways, some in unhealthy and some in healthy ways. That's why I talked about focusing on self in the beginning. And then to take a temperature of what to do with employees, ask each of them if they're willing to take either reduced pay or part-time pay. Ask them if they're willing to take unpaid unpaid time off. Ask them if they're willing, or if they're able, not just willing and able to take delayed payment, right? This is not the time to try to avoid payroll taxes. Yes, there are rumors out there around payroll taxes, but until you hear something directly from your state and local agency, I will continue to make my payroll tax obligations, right? In the best way that you can. Workers' comp insurance, disability insurance, I will make sure that I'm still on top of those things until the state and local authorities make decisions about what can be done there. So ask your employees what is possible, what are they willing and able to do. Then C is confirm and verify. As I told you, continue to look at state and local agencies and see if they give you guidance on what can be done with regards to payroll taxes. Call your insurance companies, find out what they cover, what they don't cover, what they're willing to do in terms of paying insurance premiums on a delayed basis or negotiated down. Again, confirm and verify. Don't take things into your own hands. Don't assume. Let's not go into rumors or emails or what a website said. Go directly to the insurance carrier. Go directly to the state and local agencies and find out what is allowable per their decision. Go to your employment lawyer or find an employment lawyer. Find out what you can do within the lines of the law. And then finally take action. I spoke to a business owner recently who's been in business 20 plus years. She said one of the things she's learned from managing through a lot of these other incidents, 9/11, Hurricane Sandy, the recession, is that she didn't take action quick enough with regards to cutting costs or managing cash flow. So once you've asked questions of all the parties involved, once you've confirmed and verified that the actions that you want to take or you're going to take are within the legal ramification, within the legal laws, then take the action. There's a lot of emotion. Again, this is why I started with focus on self. There's a lot of emotion in a lot of these actions that we're taking, and I don't take them lightly at all. I want to be very supportive of everyone, and I want to be very thoughtful, strategic, and compassionate, but try to take action on things that you need to take action on as soon as possible and as quickly as possible. So essentially, that is the lecture part of this conversation. If you want to stay in contact with me, here's how. My company is called The Art of Money Matters. Again, I'm an outsourced CFO. For the past 10 years, I've been working with small and mid-sized businesses. And I've been a finance professional for 20 years. I used to work at Merrill Lynch and Citigroup in corporate America. So I love numbers. I love all things financial. I know I came to you probably a little bit serious, but there is a little humor and lightness in this, because why? This is something you have control over. How you manage your financials and your financial situation in this time is, you could do it proactively. So you have some choice here. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can post on post on Instagram to Art of Money Matters. You could DM me there, or you could go to my website at artofmoneymatters.com. And if you want to book a consultation, click on book, schedule a 30-minute with me. And I think from here, I'm going to leave this up, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. And I will just let you know that if there's something that you ask that I don't know, I will find it out and I will report back next week, next Monday, same time, same place, 10 a.m.